station of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are South.
So Bryce Harper's moved to right field. 2 hits, 2 runs, a home run for Justin Upton tonight. Runner goes. Breaking ball popped up, shallow right. Harper's not going to get there. That's going to drop. Here comes Schaefer right there. Ball drop, and the Braves win it. Friday night fireworks at Turner Field last night. Another wild one with the Nats ended in walk-off fashion. Another memorable chapter was added to the pages of this great National League Eastern rivalry, and that story continues tonight. It's the Nats and the Braves, round 2, and it's coming up next. Couldn't pick a better night for baseball than this Saturday night in Atlanta, where Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. What a finish on a fabulous Friday night last night. The Braves beat the Nationals in Game 1 of the series. They'll try to do it again tonight in Game 2 behind left-hander Alex Wood. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe with you. The Braves seemingly have the Washington Nationals number. The Braves pitching last night, well, okay. Yeah. But how about the offense? The bats are coming to life. 15 runs, partner, in the last 3 games. That's certainly good news.
That is good news, and a lot of it's coming from some individuals kind of isolated through the lineup. And it's fun to watch these guys that are swinging it right now because they are all pretty hot, especially guys like Freddie Freeman and Justin Upton and Chris Johnson. They're all really contributing big time in the middle of the Braves order. Hopefully that'll get contagious. These are some of the numbers for those 3 guys I just talked about, especially over the last 6 to 9 games, as the case with Freddie Freeman, who's got a little hitting streak working. But these guys are hot. Justin Upton carried the whole team last year in April. He's trying to do the same thing again. But it needs to rub off on these guys that are off to slow starts. Top of the order, Hayward and B.J. Upton scuffling. B.J. has 3 hits on this homestand. They all came in 1 game, and he did have a home run, so that was a good sign. But along with Dan Uggla, those are some other guys in the lineup you could stand to get a little warmer.
And you know Alex Wood would love some run support for Game 2 of this series. Comeback wins are always exciting. The Braves did that an awful lot last year. They did it again last night. When we come back, Jen Hildreth will talk about that for you as we get you set for the Braves and Nats Game 2 tonight.
the Nationals in the second of a 3-game series here at Turner Field. Hi, everybody. I'm Jen Hildreth, and last year it's been pretty well documented that the Braves dominated the Nationals, going 13-6 against the Nats, but dominated maybe a little bit too strong of a word because so many of those games were close. 13 of the 19 games last year were decided by 2 runs or less, and of those, the Braves won 8 of them. The Braves' proficiency in close games is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. You can see dating back to last year their numbers: 31 one-run wins, 26 wins that came in the last at-bat, including last night, thank you Justin Upton, and 44 comeback wins. And I asked the guys, does knowing that you can win this way mean a little more?
Yeah, those wins are, I think they do mean a little bit more when you can win that close ball game. Those are the games that, we've learned that when you get into the playoffs and in those big game situations, you're going to have to win games like that.
Kind of brings us together. We're pulling for each other so hard all through all 9 innings. So I guess it could be a good thing.
Anytime you can turn over a game in the 6th inning with a 1-run lead and be confident you're going to win and actually win those games, it's an unbelievably huge advantage.
Manager Freddie Gonzalez agreed. He told me that he said you have to have 2 things. You have to have a bullpen you can trust, and you got to have guys 1 through 8 who you know can come through when you need it. He feels he's got that. Plus, he feels they have the never say die intangible. This team got the job done in the 10th last night. What's going to happen tonight? First pitch coming up between the Nationals and the Braves.
On our Home Depot tools in the dugout, we're going to show you all these things that had to go right for the Braves last night to win the game in the bottom of the 10th. You've got Jordan Schaefer over here at first base. He's going to be running on the pitch. And with that, he's going to take a look over his shoulder right there, and he's going to see contact made by Justin Upton at home plate going the other way. And as he keeps running, look at this. Anthony Rendon, the second baseman, look how close he is to second base. And look at this gap between he and Bryce Harper out in the outfield. The ball's going to drop between them. No chance for Harper playing deep to come get it. No chance for Rendon covering second to go out and make an over-the-shoulder catch. And as Jordan Schaefer kept running with 2 outs, he's able to circle the bases once that ball hit in the grass and bounced away from Bryce Harper. All of that had to play into the Braves' hands in order to pick up the W.
Great job, Joe. I mean, that really does sum up the crazy final sequence of the Braves' victory last night.
Outfield was deep, the infield was covering, and little Dunker did it.
So into the fray comes Alex Wood, the Braves' young left-hander, trying to earn his second victory of the season and exact a little revenge against the Nationals. He had a makeshift lineup in there tonight for Game 2. 78 beautiful degrees tonight. As Anthony Rendon into the leadoff spot. If you missed the news, Denard Span, the leadoff man and center fielder for the Nationals, was placed on the 7-day concussion list this afternoon. And that concussion apparently occurred after he and Dan Uggla collided last night. And at the time, it didn't seem like much of a collision at all, did it?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why, after seeing the collision, so much damage had been inflicted. But we didn't know at the time that Denard Span had some concussion issues in the past.
And those concussion issues were in 2011. So the Nationals' Toyota starting 9 has Rendon leading off, Nate McLaughlin right, Ryan Zimmerman batting and playing third, LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper. Kevin Franzen's in left, Sandy Leon will catch, and Taylor Jordan's the pitcher. And Wood, we'll see Rendon stay alive. That ball fouled at the plate.
We found that last night Worth had to come out of the ball game because of a strained groin that he suffered in an at-bat against Craig Kimbrell late in the ball game. So they're a little short-handed right now.
Fly ball center. BJ goes back, still going back at the fence, leaps and won't get it. What is up with Alex Wood and first batters in ball games? Rendon has homered to lead things off. It's 1-0 Washington.
Well, we had some Ford keys to pitching success tonight for Alex Wood, but we should have mentioned it sooner, because his Ford keys tonight, the fact that they've had to shuffle their lineup so there's more lefties in there, but solo shots. Gave up that leadoff homer on the first pitch he threw of the year to Carlos Gomez in Milwaukee. Gave up a solo shot to Desmond in Washington, and now this one.
And also gave up a bunt single to Rendon up in D.C. It's led to the first run in Washington on April the 6th. So Wood behind 1-0 as Nate McLaughlin hits for the Nationals. He's 1 for 9 so far this year. McLaughlin, as you know, a center fielder by trade, but when I asked the Washington folks why McLaughlin was playing right and Harper was center, Harper prefers playing center field. They said he really likes to roam around out there. He's a little more comfortable. To left, and Upton's got it. McLaughlin's retired, 1 out.
The shame is that with Rendon's homer, the pitch before, he had foul tipped one into the glove of Evan Gattis, and Evan just couldn't quite hang on to it, or he'd have been out.
Zimmerman had a huge hit for the Washington club last night. After Dan Uggla's throwing error in the 5th inning, Zimmerman launched a 3-run homer that tied the game 4-4. This Nationals club has come to Atlanta swinging the bats very, very well. 14 hits last night. Zimmerman, LaRoche, Worth, all swinging hot bats. Rendon, their hottest hitter. Bryce Harper, too. So a tough test for Alex tonight.
Good pitch, just missed. Had to move that target in on him again. And he was in off the plate, and that's where the pitch was delivered, but just missed.
A flinch, but no call by Larry Vanover. Full count. That's over the outside corner, and Zimmerman will take a left turn.
It worked him in, didn't get the call on the changeup. That looked like a four-seamer, maybe, excuse me, a two-seamer that had some movement on it running away and just caught the outside line. Heck of a pitch.
So the bases are empty for Adam LaRoche. Adam is off to a terrific start for Washington. 9 RBIs. He scored 10 runs. You know his slow April history as a big league player. That's not the case so far in 2014. That's right down the middle, and LaRoche couldn't swing. Couple of strikeouts for Alex Wood. The leadoff homer by Anthony Rendon puts Washington ahead 1-0. But who's counting? Braves have already raised their Eastern Division Championship banner for the 2013 season. They'd love to add another one after this year. The Toyota starting 9 has Hayward, BJ, Freddie, first, second, and third. Chris Johnson, red hot Justin Upton, fifth. Dan Douglas, sixth. Gaddis, Andrelton Simmons back in the lineup after missing a couple of days with his sore wrist. And they'll take aim at Taylor Jordan for Washington.
First 2 starts against Atlanta have been very good, a 0.73 ERA, but like we said, and very much like Alex Wood, no run support. He is 25 years old, 6'5", 200 pounds, out of Merritt Island, Florida. He made a quick rise to the big leagues after really kind of just swimming around in the minor leagues, and after Tommy John surgery last year at Potomac, 2-1, at Harrisburg, 7-0, and he got called up to the big leagues. Familiarity, yeah, the Braves just saw him a week ago, and while they haven't seen him very much, at least he's fresh on their minds. That might be a problem for Taylor Jordan tonight. Braves hitters are hoping so.
See if the Braves can get Jason Hayward back on track. Jason was 0 for 4 with a walk last night. And is still looking for his first hit this year against Washington. High fly toward left. Franzen on the run near the line. He'll play. And Hayward now 0 for 16 against Nationals pitching. He's retired to start the Braves half of the first inning.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often where you've won 3 of the first 4 games against a team and your leadoff guy doesn't have a hit yet.
So the base is empty for B.J. Upton, the Braves center fielder, at 135 for the year. B.J. reached twice yesterday. Once on an error, once on base on balls. Fly ball well hit center. Harper back, track, wall. We are tied at 1.
Well, the ball jumped off his bat there. Good swing. And as we said in our opening comments, Chip, the Braves need a couple other guys to pick up the pace a little bit. BJ certainly did right there.
So the Braves tied 1 apiece. Here's Freddie Freeman. And he's out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. First homer for B.J. Upton since August 31st last year against the Marlins. And now he's hit safely in 5 of his last 8 games with the Braves. And this guy Jordan does not give up many home runs. He's given up 17 home runs in his entire minor league career. And now 1 here to B.J. Upton.
Boy, right down the middle too, and BJ didn't miss it. And Jordan may have a little anger working because I think he barked at Larry Vanover after that last call. Sandy Leon went out to kind of calm him down.
Good pitch to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Freddie riding a 7-game hit streak for the Braves. He's 6th in the league in hitting. Line drive to right. Twelve hits in his last 27 at bats for Freeman. And back-to-back rockets by the Braves offense.
Well, again, down the middle. Fell behind in the count. Had to make a good pitch with it, but in the big leagues, a good pitch is something out of the middle of the plate that's still a strike, where you might get a hitter to think it's a strike.
And a strike to Chris Johnson. Chris last night did what he did most of last year. He'd have an offer, he'd come back with a hit or 2 the next day or the next night. That was the case for Chris. Last game against the Mets, he struck out 4 times. Last night had 3 hits, drove in a run and scored a run. And Chris, a part of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard tonight.
Since 2013, batting averages against the Washington Nationals for the Braves. He's 4th on the ball club, of course, behind Ramiro Pena. And why wouldn't he be?
The Bambino.
Babe Pena. I like it.
No balls, 2 strikes. And served out a play foul. Washington's lost 3 games all year. Braves are the team that's beaten them all 3 of those times. Braves start play tonight, 1 game behind the Nationals in the East. Johnson's down on strike, something off speed. There's out number 2. And Justin Upton, the stage is yours. He has owned it the last couple of games, hasn't he?
Really swinging the bat well. I thought the ball he hit to center field last night was as hard a ball as anybody would ever want to hit. Followed it up, of course, with that game winner that flared to right. And then I like that. They're coming out to get him. He's like, hey, what'd I do? What the heck?
Well, what he did was he earned our SunTrust Shining Moment Award with the game-winning hit last night. 3 of his last 6 hits have left the ballpark. Nothing in 2. That's well hit toward left center field. That's going to get down past fans, and it's up off the fence. Here comes Freddie around third. They're going to wave it. Desmond's relay headed for the plate. It's a terrible throw. Upton around second, on his way to third, and the Braves lead 2-1.
0-2 count too, Chip, and he had just hit a laser. Man, oh man, as he's zeroing up some balls on the fat part of the bat. I think he was kind of waiting on that changeup and nailed it. Kevin Franzen bobbled it out in left field. And then to make you appreciate Andrelton Simmons even more on this relay, they had a real good shot at Freddie, but the throw almost went over by the on-deck circle. It was so far off the mark.
It's a double and an RBI. An error on Desmond on the throw, allowing Upton to reach third. And the Braves lead by a run for Dan Uggla. By the way, for Upton, career double number 175. So no worries for Alex Wood about run support in this first inning, huh? Three hits, 2 of them for extra bases, and he now leads 2-1.
He is on everything.
Lined over third. Uggla has an RBI hit. It's 3-1.
Now he threw Justin an 0-2 changeup and he laced it. So he thought, well, maybe I'm developing a pattern here. So he throws Uggla an 0-2 fastball and it gets raked. Came in on him. Dan pulled his hands in beautifully and took the barrel to the baseball. Well done. Great 0-2 hit. It's another guy that we talked about in the opening comments.
It has often been said by starting pitchers the most difficult assignment is facing a team in back-to-back starting assignments. That's the fate for Taylor Jordan. But it goes back a little farther than that. He's actually facing the Braves for a 3rd consecutive start. But you have to go back to August 16th of last summer for that 3rd start for Jordan to apply. And unlike the game in Washington where he got a lot of ground ball outs, he is throwing stuff right down the middle tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So Steve McCaddy tries to get Jordan to regroup here. 3 in, 2 outs for Evan Gattis. Strike 1 and strike 2 haven't been a problem. It's that all-important strike 3. That ball's hammered toward left and deep. That's going to get to the fence. Here comes Oakland. They're going to wave him. And he's going to score without a throw.
Not down the middle. That was riding up and in, and Evan just somehow got his hands in far enough to get to it. Shows you how strong he is. All of these RBI hits have come with 2 outs, with the exception, of course, of the 1-out home run by BJ. Boy, after Freeman's hit, RBIs from Upton, Uggla, and Gattis, bottom part of the order. That's awesome to see.
It's awesome seeing this guy back in the lineup, Andrelton Simmons.
I asked him about it today before the game, and he said, no, it's fine. He said, actually, it was pretty good yesterday. And I said, did you hurt it on the collision? And he said, no, actually, when I landed, because after he collided with the catcher, he got thrown off balance a little bit, spun around, but he also hit the umpire. And then I think when he fell back to brace his fall, he jammed his wrist a little bit. At least that's the way he described it.
And now with Simmons ahead in the count 2-0, they'll go ahead and walk him intentionally. Go after Alex Wood. Braves will bat around here in the opening inning.
Andrelton will keep his streak alive of at bats with no strikeouts. He's got 28 official at bats without a strikeout. I don't know how many walks he's got for plate appearances. He has just 1 walk. Yep. So now 30 plate appearances without a strikeout. That's the most in the major leagues.
So Alex Wood bats and takes low.
Pitcher's batting practice pretty fun to watch. There are some guys who can really rake. Gavin Floyd can really swing it. Aaron Harang can really swing it. Mike Minor. Alex Wood is trying to join that group.
0 for 26. And yes, it's a hard 0 for 26. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He'll go back to the dugout if things don't work out here and say, you know, why did he save his best stuff for me? Went all the way through the lineup.
Little tapper, and Jordan at the mound will retire the side. The Nationals have to be shell-shocked. The Braves score 4 in the first. It began with B.J. Upton's solo home run, his first of the year. 3 other RBIs follow. Atlanta, after 1, leads Washington. 4-1 your score.
score after 1 inning of play here at Turner Field. Quite an exciting first inning for everybody. Hi, I'm Jen Hildreth, and I had a chance to talk to Justin Upton yesterday, and one of the things he talked about was the family business that he has here on this Braves team. Of course, the whole team is a family, but he actually has some blood relations, as I'm sure you know. BJ Upton, Justin Upton. Check out the cleats these guys had for opening day. Family business doing pretty well in the first inning, guys. Justin, you know, has been hot. BJ getting things rolling with his first home run of the season in the first. And I talked to Justin and said, how tough is it when your brother isn't having the kind of success he'd like to have? You know, can you go talk to him? What do you do? He said, nah, he knows what to do, and he does not need little brother in his ear. Chip.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet that's the case. But going back to what we talked about in the open, nice to see some of the struggling Braves heating up tonight in the first inning.
And let's hope that after we showed that graphic, Miss Keeney got everybody rolling with that one today. And, Jason Hayward to join the fray next inning.
So Alex Wood, who has gotten virtually no run support in his career against Washington, got 4 to play with in the opening inning. In fact, in 3 starts against the Nationals in Alex's career, he's earned a grand total of 3 runs of support prior to tonight.
He pitched a really good game in Washington. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, and he was locked up in that 1-1 tie with Taylor Jordan until this guy Desmond hit a home run off of him late, and it was just a mistake. Might have even been leading off an inning where he ambushed a pitch that was up, and that was the only real mistake he made all day. Did not walk a batter.
This guy's a real good player. He and Desmond. A lot of power. Already 3 homers, 9 RBIs. I guess if there's a perceived weaknesses, it still makes a lot of errors at shortstop, including one tonight on that relay throw.
And he's got a very good arm. It was almost like he went out so far to get that relay because he had Franzen out there who doesn't normally play in the outfield, so he went out to do him a favor, and he went out so far that he was a little wild on his reference point where home plate was.
Hayward handles that pop up for out number 1. And we saw Franzen play the outfield up in Washington, and it's been years since he started out there. But with the groin problem for Jason Worth, with Denard Span going to the DL, it's all hands on deck for Washington tonight. Bryce Harper is normally their left fielder. He's in center tonight, and he's heating up. Harper 8 hits in his last 24 at bats. And he lays down a bunt, and it's a beauty. Bryce Harper with a bunt single.
Did it last night. Didn't leave the box too soon. Took his time, and as he has been instructed to do, as any good bunter, left-handed especially, bunt the ball right at the second baseman and then win the race.
So here is Franzen. Kevin batting .375 for the year. He had a pinch hit RBI last night. Led all baseball in pinch hits last season.
Everybody you talked to today about last night's game, everybody's shaking their heads like that was crazy. There were things going on every inning, weird stuff happening, collision between the bases, an umpire getting hit with a line drive, guy trying to score from second on a pass ball. Weird stuff.
3 disputed calls at second base, 1 disputed call at the plate. was the interesting note, too. We thought Matt Williams was questioning whether Jordan Walden tagged LaRoche before he got to the plate. That wasn't the basis of his appeal. He was protesting and arguing that Jordan Walden blocked the plate, which is now illegal without the baseball.
Yeah, it would be nice to know that, you know, and all this communication that's going from a ballpark to New York and back, and finding out if it's upheld, if it stands, if it's overruled. Be nice to know, what did he appeal?
Right. Deep short. Simmons can't get that. Franzen behind in the count has a hit. Harper will stop at second. And the Nationals will bring Sandy Leon, their catcher, to the plate. Leon gets a start tonight because Lobaton deserves a Purple Heart. I mean, he was absolutely beaten up last night. He really worked hard, knocking balls down, taking foul tips off his body. He was wrapped up in the Nationals clubhouse before the game today. They're hoping he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. So tonight it's Leon's turn to catch.
Leon's a real good catch and throw guy, has a terrific arm, but still looking for his first hit.
He's 0 for 11 so far this year. Again, Wilson Ramos is their #1 catcher. He got hurt in the first game of the season. And that's a big blow for Washington. Not only was he their starting catcher, he was their cleanup guy. And he's out a month.
Good base runner. If you're the trailing base runner with runners at first and second, you've got to be heads up to what the guy in front of you is doing. And when Bryce Harper bluffed just a moment ago, like he was going to third, he almost hung Franzen out to dry because Franzen broke 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe mentioned the catch and throw aspect of Leon's game. The Nationals media guide says in the previous 4 seasons he threw out 48% of opposing base stealers.
That's pretty good.
He signed with the Nationals after participating in a private workout in Venezuela. It was one of the first signings by the Nationals organization in Venezuela since they relocated the franchise from Montreal.
A little low? No, it wasn't.
Wood wants an appeal. It's denied at first. So a couple of opportunities on the house for the Nationals catcher here.
He stopped it. I don't know if the pitch was actually high, but he did stop his swing. Catcher's speed, you'd like to get him to put the ball in play, although Franzen found a hole. You'd like to see if Leon would hit a ground ball at somebody, give the Braves a chance to turn a double play, at least get 1 out, keep the ball in the infield, and have the pitcher come up behind him.
In the air to right. Jason gives ground, and no chance for anybody to advance. Big second out. Leon hit it hard, but right at Hayward. 2 outs. And here is Jordan. Jordan had a couple of hits last year for Washington. He's 0 for 2 so far this year, so a career 125 batting mark. And Wood ahead of him with a foul ball to the right side. Strike one. .40 pitches, a few more than Alex would like. But he's one away from sending this to the bottom of the second. On the appeal to first, no swing, and Bryce Harper moves up 90 feet on a ball in the dirt.
Did not go. Evan didn't bother to make a throw to third because he thought he was going to get the appeal to make the tag, inning over.
All's well that ends well. Wood strikes out his opposing pitcher. He leads 4-1, bottom of the second. Last night, Tanner Roark had never hit a batter in the big leagues. He hit 3 last night.
Poor old Angel got nailed. Dan couldn't get out of Denard Span's way. Bad collision, and then Tyler Clippard took it out on the bench after he gave up a home run to Justin Upton. And then about 140-foot single scored a guy from first base to win the game.
Yeah, well, it's just the strangest game of all time. But the Braves came out on top, and they're leading game 2 tonight after a 4-run first inning. Taylor Jordan gave up 3 straight RBI hits. Upton on an 0-2 count, Ugla on an 0-2 count, Gaddis on an 0-1 count. So we go back to the top of the order. Jason Hayward, who popped out to left, starts the Braves' second inning. .31 first inning pitches for Taylor Jordan. And that's high to Hayward.
Braves had 5 hits and a walk in the first inning. Time for Jason to be a part of it. get his first hit against Washington for the year.
Oh.
In for a strike. Don't know how long Jordan's going to stay in the Nationals rotation. Remember, they made the big trade with the Tigers to get Doug Fister. He's starting to make his way back from a lat problem that plagued him in the spring.
Well, you know that Fister's going to pitch. He's going to be in the rotation. The idea is for Taylor Jordan, like any young pitcher, when you're given an opportunity to fill in, if that's the case, and make the most of your opportunity, make it hard for them to take you out of the rotation. Good swing there by Jason. The Nationals were a little concerned last night. If the Braves had not won the game and Jerry Blevins had to go back out there and pitch a second inning in the 11th, they were really strapped for pitching. They weren't sure how or what they were going to do if the game really went a lot of extra innings.
That ball is scorched to center. Harper back at the fence will have room for out number one. Braves are getting great swings against Mr. Jordan. There were some great swings last night. Our Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber. Actually, it's BJ today.
Got a ball right down the middle and didn't miss it. Almost the same spot where Jason just hit his fly ball. Good start to his night.
Another scorcher, and Desmond laid that ball at short.
Give him a hit. Too hot to handle. Ole is right. Didn't want any part of getting in front of it, and it is a hit.
BJ's 2 for 2. Here's Freeman. He singled and scored in the opening inning. With all the injuries that Washington's gone through, they made a flurry of transactions today. They brought up Blake Trinan from AAA and Steven Souza Jr., an outfielder. A little bit surprising. They sent Aaron Barrett back to AAA Syracuse.
Well, apparently Trinan is a guy who can start or pitch some long relief, and that's what they need right now. Like I just mentioned, the shortage of pitching and guys that are available. That's what caused the move, because they like Barrett.
Mile high pop toward third. Zimmerman with Twilight Sky makes the play. And he's got it for out number 2. The way this night has gone for Jordan, we might see Trinan tonight. Here are the transactions for Washington today.
We told you about Span going in the 7-day DL for concussion symptoms, and Steven Souza Jr. has played his entire career in the minor leagues. You'll have to tell me how many games again.
It's over 600.
Yeah, this is his first recall to the big leagues. Couldn't be happier, more excited for him. Congratulations.
Coming into this season, Joe, 622 minor league games, over 2,100 minor league at bats.
Well, I hope he does well. I hope he gets an opportunity and does well. Not against the Braves, of course, but you pull for those guys that have hung in there that long. Spend all that much time in the minor leagues, and you come up here and you come into Turner Field with a big crowd, and all of a sudden Bang, bang, bang. It's like, ooh, welcome to the show.
Or I'm glad I'm not chasing all those balls in the gap tonight. But you know he would be. So a long march to the majors for Steven Souza. Still a kid, just 24 years old after being taken in the 3rd round in 2007.
Is he really just 24?
Mm-hmm. And high to Chris Johnson. 1 ball, no strikes.
I get a chance to check out Sandy Leon's arm here with 2 outs if BJ's running.
Everything is up for Jordan. He has 1 ground ball out, and that was from the pitcher, Alex Wood, who tapped back to him. 2 balls, no strikes.
Might have been going.
This is not an easy stretch for Washington. After this series, they head to Miami, then go home for 4 with the Cardinals, 3 with the Angels, and 4 with the Padres. That gets them to the last 3 days of April. The reason I mentioned the Padres, did you see what Andrew Kashner did to the Tigers the other day?
Yes.
Padres, of course, have never had a no-hitter in the history of their franchise. He came close. He one-hit a team that has Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and others in that lineup. Andrew Kashner is on an unbelievable roll with San Diego. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 9 consecutive starts, and I'll bet nobody outside of San Diego knows that.
That's true.
Two balls, 2 strikes for Chris. And he's down on strikes. Johnson's down swinging for a 2nd time. Jordan restores a little order. Top of his order goes to work, down 4-1.
Baseball was presented by AT UVerse. Delta Airlines and Ford.
Great start to game 2 of the series for the Braves, who are in a long stretch of games against division rivals. That's very important, as you'll see on our Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Braves' April schedule tonight, the 5th game out of 16 straight without a day off. 19 straight within their own division, which is a little bit of a oddity for them, at least in recent years in the schedule. Best record in the National League East last year against their rivals. With that slow motion shot of the chalker drawing the lines in the infield. Excuse me, Exmo. That was really a cool shot, watching the chalk fall out of the bin. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever chalked a field?
No.
Not easy.
Another hit by Rendon. He's 2 for 2. He's hit safely in 10 of the last 11 games for Washington.
If you're ever asked to chalk a field for your boys' field or something before a game, what you ought to do is do it without a string as a guideline. That'll really make some people happy.
Wait,
no, I can do it.
You know me, I have trouble walking and chewing gum, so I might not be the right person to ask. This is McLeod. He lays down a bunt. Johnson with a bare hand has to fire quickly to first and in time. Sacrifice as McLeod gets Rendon into scoring position for Ryan Zimmerman.
I don't think Nate was bunting for a sacrifice there. If he was, I'd be a little surprised because they're down by 3, although it's still early, and maybe the thought is try to get 1 back here. But more than likely, he was just trying to get on base for the guys in the middle of the order.
And this one might be reviewed. You know, Freddie Gonzalez and Matt Williams will probably not have to send Angel Hernandez a Christmas card. They've been acquainted so much in this series already.
They'll know if they do send something. Angel will say, yeah, I know these guys well. So here we go. Matt's going to go ahead and try it, just in an effort to try to keep this inning going and have 2 on. It took Matt so long to get out of the dugout that I figured somebody in the clubhouse or his replay coach, if you will, saw a replay and said, hey, I think Nate was safe. Tony Tarasco thought he was safe. Oh, boy.
Now, Mark Wiedemeyer is their defense coordinator and advance coach. I'm not sure if he's the Nationals replay guru or not. The Braves is, of course, Horacio Ramirez. As we look at the replay on the high definition scoreboard in center field,
he might have been safe.
He might have been. This is the replay that was just shown inside the stadium.
Foot on the bag. Not sure the ball was all the way in the glove. Has to be conclusive evidence that they saw a mistake to overturn it. They can say it stands because there wasn't enough clear evidence on a replay to overturn it.
And again, it's taking too long.
Yep.
And I understand the technology and the communication issues and all of that. But even the umpires are looking at the center field scoreboard
while they wait for a decision from New York. This was the challenge that John Sherholt spoke with us about in spring training. Get the calls right, but not interrupt the unique flow of our game. It's interrupted. Alex Wood's taking warm-up tosses now.
I don't know that it's conclusive enough. And likewise, if he'd called him safe, I don't know that there would be enough evidence to overturn it if he said he was safe. It's that close. Maybe they ought to just get a hood over there where the home plate umpire, the crew chief, goes over and looks under the hood and says, yay, nay, no.
Well, but I mean, even the fans now are starting to get restless. Yeah. You want them. You feel bad for the umpires. They're trying to get it right, and we're finding out just how good these guys are. And that so few calls, at least 4 of them last night, were not overturned. But now you've got to worry about Alex Wood and the rhythm that he was trying to get in. That's been interrupted, and we still have no resolution to the play.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it, is how it affects the pitcher as he's waiting for the game to resume. He's out.
So Matt Williams used his challenge. He lost it. I'm sure Matt's disappointed with the outcome, but he might be disappointed he got bad information. But the Braves happy to get the out. Rendon at second. Ryan Zimmerman, the batter, he struck out on a pitch away his first time up.
He's done for the night on his challenges, but it's got to be pretty obvious, you know, kind of an obvious call that was missed for them to overturn it.
We'll let you know once we find out from New York the exact length of time that challenge took. Woods missed with his first 2 pitches to Zimmerman. And now 3 in a row.
Be alive here. He might be hacking 3-0. I love to watch Ryan Zimmerman hit. I love his leg kick. It's pretty unique to him. It looks like, well, you ought to be able to throw him some off-speed stuff and get him off balance and everything, but he gets the foot down in time and stays back, gets it down on the fastball.
He's hit 181 big league homers. His best year was 2009, 33 homers and 106 knocked in.
What a year.
But then the shoulder problem started. And he takes a walk. So a single, a sacrifice, and a base on balls brings Adam LaRoche to the plate. LaRoche has thunder, and he represents the potential tying run.
It wasn't a bad walk with the base open. And as hot as Zimmerman has been, but if you pitch around him, that means you better pitch to this guy. You better make some good pitches to this guy and hope that you can get him to hit the ball on the ground somewhere. And he's had a good April.
LaRoche went down on 3 pitches his first time. And with all the injuries to Washington, one of their plans might have been to rest LaRoche tonight, because he doesn't hit lefties well, and the last 5 games this Washington team hasn't hit lefties well.
Yeah, and his numbers typically against left-handers is below that 230 mark.
That just missed, even count. 1 strike. We don't have an official time, but what we were told by our producer Brian Woodrum is from the time the umpires got to the headsets to the resolution of that play with Nate McLeod was 3 minutes and 26 seconds. So add Matt Williams' trot out to challenge the call. It was probably 4 minutes plus.
And you're right, that's too long.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Alex got a high strike call there. LaRoche, an outstanding low ball hitter, laid off that pitch and may have been a little surprised it was called a strike. Pitched himself into a corner. Now he's got to make a good pitch to Adam and worry about his ability to drive the ball or load him up.
That man waits on deck. Ian Desmond, the shortstop. Good battle here with LaRoche and Alex Wood. He's up over 60 pitches in the game now, and Evan Gattis out for another chat.
With a double play in order, you have to honor that as middle infielders. You've got to stay within striking distance to go over and take a feed from your cohort to get a turn on the double play. But with LaRoche up there, Dan's got to stay close to the bag at second, but you'd almost like to see him play him a little more to pull toward the hole, but he really can't because of the double play situation. You see Simmons is the guy that's kind of bird dogging Rendon.
LaRoche swung at ball 4. That's a big break. 2 outs. 4th strikeout for Alex tonight.
And you see a guy grow up. When you watch pitches like this after falling behind 3-2, didn't throw a strike, but he threw a really good changeup that's good enough to make a left-handed hitter swing at it that he couldn't afford to take. That's big league pitching right there, and well done.
So Desmond is the batter. Desmond's the man that broke Alex's heart in Washington with a long homer. Alex got him to fly out.
Yeah, watch out on the first pitch.
You're right. He was swinging for the fences and missed it. Desmond, a big kid, 6'3", 215 pounds, out of Sarasota, Florida. He's beginning his 5th full major league season this year.
He's such a good player. He's got such good skills defensively and offensively. He's a better offensive player than defensive, but he ought to be one of the elite shortstops in the game. And there's just something, not sure what it is, but there's something holding him back.
I would say the glove.
Must be.
You know, 34 errors his first full year, 23, 15, then 20 last year. Because you look at the offense, he's hit 20 home runs the last 2 years. He's been over 70 RBIs the last 2 years. He's scored 70 runs or more each of the last 2 years. He's at 292 and 280.
See, I maybe not on this club with Zimmerman he could almost hit third in their lineup. He's that talented an offensive player, and he ought to be a better shortstop with his skill set.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And in the air, foul and out of play to the right. He's won the Silver Slugger Award twice in the National League at shortstop.
Yeah, look at those numbers.
But to your point, you're right. On this team, glove first, bat second.
Yeah, their defense was atrocious last year. Something they were trying real hard, and under the tutelage of Matt Williams, who was an outstanding third baseman, to make better plays, save their pitchers some runs.
One ball, 2 strikes. And foul at third. We'll do it again.
Just one man's opinion, but I don't think that's going to happen with that defensive improvement until they make that move to get Zimmerman to first base. And that's no knock on Adam LaRoche. That's because I don't think Zimmerman can play a full year over there and not hurt him with errant throws.
Yeah, 40 some odd errors between Zimmerman and Desmond last year on the Nationals' left side of the infield. Long inning for Alex Wood. A roughly 4-minute long replay challenge as well tonight. He missed low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, it just kind of took the starch out of the game a little bit, you know. It was moving. It was action packed here in the first 2 innings. A lot going on. Braves had a great bottom of the first, and then the game just came to an absolute complete stop for almost 4 minutes.
And Desmond is down on strikes. Gaddis with the peg to first. 5 strikeouts for Alex Wood. He leads 4-1.
Go Braves! Go Braves! Go Braves!
We know that guy.
I love everybody in Fox Sports.
Bravos! Let's go,
Bravos!
Let's go, Bravos!
Well, these Braves fans are nuts, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Already mastering the liquid tomahawk.
Yes.
On a beautiful Saturday night. And it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown on an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Joe, I really admire and respect what baseball is trying to do with replay. And I don't want to hammer it because I do agree with what John has said, John Schuerholz, that this is going to be a 3-year roll out, there's going to be trial and error. There will be moments like we saw tonight where everyone's going to be frustrated with the way replay either works or doesn't work. There's an old saying, performance before perfection. So we've got the performance part down. Now it's a matter of making the system better. As Justin Upton takes a second strike. Any ideas on, from a player's perspective, how baseball can improve what we've seen so far in the first couple of weeks?
Well, that would assume that I've been involved in all the.
Well hit towards center. Harper gives ground and shy of the track makes the catch.
That I've been in all the meetings. I've got all this information around me that I can make a good judgment on. This is just a layman looking at it. That I wish there was some way to make it quicker, where it didn't have to go to New York and come back. They didn't have to stand on the field in headsets waiting for some guys in New York to decide. You know, when that play occurred and Matt Williams started running from the dugout to first base, those guys in New York should have already been looking at that play and should have had 2 or 3 looks at it by the time they put the headphones on, and could have said, hey, we can't tell for sure, so it has to stand. You know, why it almost appears outside looking in that process didn't start, and it lasted for 3 good minutes. It didn't start till they put the headphones on.
One of our great crew in the booth tonight said, why not have a time limit on the replay? If you can't reach a decision within a minute and a half or 2 minutes, the play stands.
Well, I don't know about that. If you're going to do it, do it.
Do it right.
If you're going to do it, if you're going to look at the replay and look at it until you make an honest decision and don't feel like you're under the gun to have to do it under a time frame. But I don't know. It seems like there's a lot involved here. And I know that they felt like this was the best system, and it may well be. They just got to streamline it. They really do. Because we had one in.
Whoa! Wait.
We had one somewhere that was less than a minute. I mean, it was quick.
Right. I guess because we're trying to keep the human element involved, once you've taken the human element out and gone to using replay, why must you have the human element involved? Does that make sense? I mean, why does, to your point, Matt Williams have to go all the way out to first base and say, I'm challenging the call? Why can't New York say, hey, bang, bang play, have a buzzer on an umpire's back, say, go check the replay, or that call needs to be overturned? And announce that to the fans of the ballpark and the TV trucks and the radio people so everybody knows. Wouldn't that be a faster system?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't. That's why I say, with respect to being involved in all those decision-making meetings and processes, I don't know what's involved with the way it is now.
I know, in speaking to a couple of managers in spring training and in the early days of this regular season, almost to a man, they have said they would prefer not to be involved in it. Just let's get it right, because it's such an awkward feeling, they say, going out, say, run all the way down the first base line and say, I want you to look at that call.
Yeah, so they don't like that. I know that much. Kicking the dirt until they get a high sign or something from the dugout. They don't like that.
But it's not perfect. We know that. And I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I'm not bum kicking the entire exercise. I applaud baseball for trying to get it right. And most of the time, the umpires do get it right, with or without replay. As Gaddis hits one past Zimmerman and into left field. Evans 2 for 2 tonight. So good to see Evans' bat coming to life. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And Andrelton Simmons will be the batter. The Nationals walked Andrelton intentionally in the first. Let's see what Jordan has in store for him here in the third. 4-1 Braves. Anthony Rendon led off with a homer for Washington. The Braves answered with 4 themselves in the bottom half of the first. Zimmerman charges, scoops, and fires, and the stretch at first in time. That is patented Ryan Zimmerman. That is his most comfortable throwing motion, and he just made a beautiful play to rob Andrelton Simmons and end the Atlanta third. That's worthy of a replay. We'll show it to you shortly.
Atlanta Braves baseball was presented by the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T.
Well, here are the kind of replays I like to see. Terrific plays by terrific athletes. And a fine one by Ryan Zimmerman to rob Andrelton Simmons and end the third inning.
Got him. Last long, slow lunge by Andrelton slowed him down a little bit. But as you said, Chip, that play by Zimmerman, if he could get you to hit him slow rollers all day, you'll have no problems, because that's his natural throwing motion. That's the one where he's got better control of his throws. And as long as he can submarine the ball over there, he's in good shape.
So on we go to the fourth. Bryce Harper, Kevin Franzen, and Sandy Leon coming up against Alex Wood, who could use an easy inning. That's his 70th pitch of this game. A bunt single for Harper back in the second. He went around 2-2.
Good pitch, too. Really good pitch at the knees on the outside part. Sure going to a lot of deep counts, though, especially on the left-handed hitters. LaRoche with a changeup.
Harper took high, and he's on his way to first with a leadoff walk. Franzen guided a single into left field his first time up. He's the Nationals' 7th place hitter. Fly foul, strike one to Franzen. And to center field. Franzen's 2 for 2.
Guy can hit now. Could be that it's just left-handers that he wears out, but I go back to the fact that the Phillies let him go at the end of spring training, and I have no idea why they did that. Change up, get right back at him.
Wow, Anthony Favaro's up and throwing. Leone line to right.
I'm not surprised. He's having trouble getting ahead in the count. He's gone to deep counts on so many different hitters. I don't know what that delay cost him in terms of momentum and being in a groove. He's given up 5 hits and 2 walks.
To center. B.J. Upton is going to grab it. 1 out. No advance by Harper or Franzen. Here's Jordan. He struck out swinging in the second. No sign of a bunt with 1 out. He takes a strike.
Might have missed a bunt sign there. Try to move him up for Rendon. Maybe pick up a couple of runs with 2 outs.
Nothing in 2.
Harper's been getting such big leads. Good idea to use that spin move just in case he's being overly aggressive.
He stabbed at that ball and missed it. Now Harper's in a rundown. The Nationals base running has been awful against Atlanta.
That was set up 2 pitches ago by Andrelton Simmons, who waved from second base at Evan Gattis to alert him to that possibility 2 pitches later.
Washington runs themselves out of the 4th. As for the Nationals head-to-head with the Braves tonight, and this strike 'em out, throw 'em out double play on the base path sends it to the home fourth.
And you could see there, that was a great angle of watching Bryce Harper wander too far off the base, anticipating the bunt. It didn't come. But a pitch before, Andrelton Simmons had snuck in behind Harper and alerted Evan Gattis. And this is the foul ball. And see Andrelton running back to second base. And he's waving right there. He's like, hey, Evan, keep an eye on this. Very alert. Took care of business.
So Alex Wood bats in the fourth. Takes a strike. Desmond at short. And there's your first out. Jason Hayward has popped out and has flied out to deep center. Jordan's starting to settle in. He threw 31 pitches by my count in the first inning. He's thrown 32 since. And has had just 2 base runners since the opening frame for Atlanta. But he's down 4-1. Three balls, 2 strikes. Hayward's aboard with a 1-out walk. Second walk for Jordan, the first unintentional free pass. And B.J. Upton hits, and he's had a good night.
He's hit the ball hard twice, once over the fence and one almost through Ian Desmond at shortstop. Generous call there. Good lead for Jason.
Line drive right to LaRoche, and he'll scoop it up and step on the bag.
Yeah, at first it looked like he caught the ball in the air, but Jason Hayward was wise to keep running. The second base umpire is the one that called it safe, meaning he didn't catch it on the fly.
Now Matt Williams already used his challenge, so all he can do now is come and argue.
And the other umpires with Larry Vanover are going to get together to let Paul Nauert know what they saw. Did he catch it on the fly? The way Adam caught it to the side and kind of olayed it a little bit made it appear to hit the dirt, but it did not. It hit in his glove. His glove hit the dirt, but I don't believe the ball did.
So that should be a double play, but it was called a 3 unassisted put out of Upton at first, with Hayward standing at second base.
The good side is BJ hit another one good.
Now it's the discretion of the umpires as to whether or not they go and take a look at it. Matt Williams has used his challenge and lost it.
Well, obviously, none of them thought that they saw anything different than what the second base umpire saw. They didn't change his mind. They didn't change his ruling.
And I don't know the answer to this, but if a play is not challenged, can they show the replay on the scoreboard? Obviously, the Braves would not do that because from our vantage point, it should have been a double play, and that doesn't help the home team to show that replay. With the umpires uncertain. So Atlanta appears to have gotten a break. Hayward's in at second on a 3 unassisted put out at first of B.J. Upton.
Well, a chance to pick up a run.
Freddie has singled, scored, and popped out. And strike one. Oh, 2.
Jordan really wraps his arm back around behind his body, but eventually it gets where it needs to be, and he is able to get on top of the pitches for the most part. If he doesn't, kind of like that last one, he kind of slings that changeup up there and it doesn't do much. Even though they were ahead of Freddie 0-2, you wonder with a runner in scoring position if they would give him anything to hit or if they just keep trying to get him to chase something with first base open and a right-handed hitter on deck. They did go after him. They're already down 4-1. They ought to be extremely careful here about how they work him.
Freeman hit .443 last year with runners in scoring position and had 45 2-out runs batted in. And a shot to right is caught by McLeod.
Nice play.
And he actually bobbled it and caught it at the belt buckle. Freeman hit it right on the screws, but he's retired, and we head to the 5th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Georgia Power and the Home Depot.
Beautiful night in Atlanta. Braves offense won't be pacified by the Nationals in the first 2 games of the series. Might want to change the title of this sport to Bizarro Ball after what we've seen last night and again tonight. What's going on?
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Might explain it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rendon's 2 for 2 again. He's homered and singled. Perfect pitch has him behind in the count.
And if you put a guy in the leadoff spot, you like him leading off innings, and this is the 3rd time tonight already for him doing that.
With the high pitch count of Alex, 86 now. Obviously, he has to get through this 5th inning with the lead to qualify for the victory. There's talk in spring training, too, or slightly before spring training, about limiting his innings. This might be one of those games where it's 5 and fly for him. And in mind, the Braves pen is busy.
And another deep count.
Yep. With Nate McLeod waiting on deck. Slow roller. And foul at the 3rd base bag. Rendon is some kind of hitter. He's 23 years old, born in Houston, was the 6th overall pick in the draft in 2011.
He's strong and he's got a short swing.
Played college ball at Rice. And he takes another walk. That's 3 from Alex tonight. So Rendon has filled the role of leadoff man to perfection so far tonight. And here's McLeod. He lined to left. He bunted back in the second, and on a bang-bang play was called out and credited with the sacrifice. We had a long replay review of that sequence. And we found out that we believe one of the reasons why the replay took so long is that there were 2 other replays being monitored by Major League Baseball at the time of our replay.
We don't know that that's the reason, but we have found out that there were some other replays being questioned at the time. So I don't know if they overlapped and they didn't have enough help. But they do have 2 crews in that master control, we're told.
On ball, 2 strikes for Nate McLeod. No Worth tonight. Sore groin. Lobaton, a night off. Denard Span, 7-day concussion disabled list for Washington to go along with Wilson Ramos, disabled. So the Nationals playing shorthanded tonight. Still very much alive in this game, down 4-1. And Wood struggling with his command, got McLeod to swing at a ball off the plate. That is a big break. 7th strikeout for Alex. 1 on, 1 out.
Yeah, the strikeout total kind of it makes it look like a whole lot better outing, and he's only given up 1 run. That's a good outing, but the fact is he's really had to throw a lot of pitches and really had to work to keep it at 1 run.
Strike 1 to Zimmerman, who has struck out and walked tonight. Way high. So we do have clarification on at least the timing of our replay. As Zimmerman hits one the other way and fair into the right field corner. Rendon around second is on his way to third. He will be stopped there. Zimmerman has doubled with 1 out. So Zimmerman 6 hits in his last 19 at bats. And his 3rd 2-base hit of the year.
Pretty nice piece of hitting there for him to go the other way. Fastball kind of tailing away from him, but took it the other way. There's that big leg kick. I was just thinking about him playing golf. I wonder if he does that when he's teeing off.
Yeah. So LaRoche is the hitter. He has struck out twice. Again, he represents the tying run. And makes a strike. 4 umpires are on duty in the replay center in New York. Ours was the only replay going on at the time it was initiated here in Atlanta. And roughly 3.5 minutes elapsed before the play was resolved. Downstairs to LaRoche, 1 ball, 1 strike. go. Yeah, he went.
Strikeout would be huge here. And he did go. Good stop by Evan in the process, too.
Tried the same pitch, and LaRoche had none of that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think Evan was upset with himself there. It was a breaking ball, and he was going to make sure if it went in the dirt, he wasn't going to let it bounce by him. But in the process, I think he feels like maybe he cost him a strike there by the way he caught it. Here's the pitch before, curveball, and you can see the way he kind of pancaked it down. Any chance at all of getting that call is pretty much taken away when you catch it and take it down even lower. The runner at third base, he was thinking about that guy at third too, not letting the ball get by him.
Pickoff play, got him.
Great timing play. Outstanding timing play by Andrelton and Alex.
And Zimmerman hurt his thumb.
Perfect throw. And Andrelton taking that throw kind of laid down in front of him. Looking at his right thumb when he got up. I don't know if he jammed it into the bag diving back or not. He appears to be hurt. I mean, seriously hurt.
So a 2-2 pitch coming to LaRoche. 2 outs now in the 5th inning. Strike 3 right down Broadway, and Wood is out of the 5th.
Little reaction from Alex Wood too.
The Braves half of the 5th inning. That's Danny Espinosa. He'll check in and play second base. Rendon will move from second to third after Zimmerman injured himself, sliding back into second and being picked off just a moment ago.
This is a perfect look. Now take a look at there at the line that Alex Wood can see. He's got the umpire in the way a little bit, but it's called a daylight play. And as soon as he can see daylight between Andrelton Simmons and Zimmerman, that's when Alex wheels and fires. That was perfectly executed.
Zimmerman looking at his right thumb, went straight down the tunnel and has been taken from the game for Washington. So Wood with 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, is through 5 with a 4-1 lead. And he is shortstop. And you're right, excellent coordination on that pickoff. Let's get a few more. Chris Johnson starts. Chris has struck out twice. Chris has had the strikeout working a little too much.
Well, his swing looks different. I don't know if it's by design, and certainly he wouldn't want to change his swing, but his inside out swing has the bats get out in front of him a little bit. There's better. That's better, going inside out, using his hands in there to fight it off. That's more Chris Johnson.
Second career 4 strikeout game against the Mets the other night. Big offensive day yesterday. And if Rendon makes the play, Chris will be 0 for 3 tonight. And he is 1 away in the 5th. Tell you what, Taylor Jordan is acting as his own relief pitcher. He's done a nice job sucking up innings for Washington after a real shaky start.
That's a good description. And they needed him to do that. If they had to go to the pin in the first inning tonight, they'd have been in even tougher shape.
Justin Upton has doubled and fly to center. He scored a run and knocked in a run. And another shot into the gap, but this time right center field. Upton's thinking 3 maybe. And a momentary stumble at second, and he'll stop there. That's 8 hits in Upton's last 10 at bats. You know what that means?
Hot.
Hotter than
a dancing bobcat.
Our first of the year.
And he's hitting it to all fields. Staying locked in. Driving the ball wherever it's pitched. He was thinking 3, but well, that's hard to do, is hit the brakes and stop quick enough that you don't get picked off.
And Ugla bats, he's 1 for 2. And it sweeps outside. Dan's knocked in 4 runs against Washington this year. A chance for a 5th to make it a 5-1 game. Little flare into left field. That's going to drop for a hit. Franzen charges, fields cleanly. His throw toward the plate will not be cut off. It's late. 5-1 Atlanta. Dan Ugla, a 2 RBI night.
This. Dan gets fooled. He's not fooled in such a way that he's pulling away from the ball. Stayed on the ball long enough to flip it out there, and Upton made sure before he broke for the plate that he saw the ball drop. But a good job by Dan on an off-speed pitch.
So BJ 2 hits tonight. Dan Ugla 2 hits and 2 RBIs tonight. Evan Gattis is 2 for 2. Braves have 5 runs on 9 hits as they bat in inning number 5. They've scored 15 runs in their first 6 games. They had 15 in the previous 3 before tonight's 5-run outburst. And now Gaddis is 3 for 3. He hits one hard the other way. And how long will Matt Williams stick with Taylor Jordan? He's starting to get hit hard now.
Their bullpen just now beginning to stir. High fastball. Boy, that was up out of the zone, and you know how much Evan likes high fastballs. Got up on the same level as that pitch and drove it to right field. Good night for him.
So after Leon talked with the pitcher, now Desmond comes in. That buys some more time for the Washington pen.
Hamilton likes the first pitch in these situations. Let's see if he's going after it.
Too high to offer. 1 ball, no strikes.
And he has been up in the zone and out of the zone this inning.
Gaddis with a 3-hit game that ties his career high, done 7 times last year. And Simmons looks up and away, ball 2. Blake Trinan is the man up in the Washington bullpen. He's the kid they just called up today when they made their flurry of roster moves mid-afternoon. Now time called. High fly to right. That'll chase McCarth back. He's got that.
He dropped it.
And then he dropped the ball. And Gaddis on his way to second. Everybody's safe.
They are really becoming sticklers on this transfer. Outfielders, infielders, pop-ups, fly balls. They want a clean transfer, and you have to show it. And there was no clean transfer there. He never got it in his bare hand. Adam LaRoche is arguing it at first base, but it is a point of contention with all the umpires now that you have to show that you have the ball in the hand. It's the same thing on the double play ball and the turn at second base. And you see guys dropping balls all the time on the transfer. You must have that ball in your hand when you drop it. He did not. It came right out of the glove and never got in the hand.
There was a very famous play in the ballpark across the street. Do you remember a Braves outfielder named Terry Harper? Made a catch and tried to leap the bullpen fence. Never put his bare hand into the glove. When he jumped over the fence, his glove hit the top of the fence. The ball came out, and the umpire said, safe. That's not as... This play was not nearly as extreme as that, but one that caught Nate McLeod by surprise. The Nationals at wit's end.
That's Steve McCaddy out to try to calm his pitcher down a little bit. And Ian Desmond trying to take care of business here with the kid to try to get him to concentrate back on his business at the plate. But Nate McLeod learned the hard way, and so will other players during the summer. If they do not take the ball out of their glove with their throwing hand, maybe guys will start catching the ball more with two hands to make that transfer cleaner.
So he caught it, but then, as you see, just flat out dropped it. Do you like that?
Absolutely. That's been the law of the land forever, but it's been kind of loosely enforced, I'd say, the last 10 or 15 years. But you've always had to show the ball.
Ryan Domit will hit for Alex Wood with the Braves up 5-1 and the bases loaded with one out. That play in right was an error on McLeod. So Uggla's at third, Gaddis at second, Simmons at first. Again, we've seen just about everything you can see in these last two games. And Wood a chance to beat the Nationals tonight for the first time. Blowing outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2 for Ryan.
Fly ball gets you an extra run. Base hit gets you 2.
Domit 1 for 5 so far this year as Braves pinch hitter.
Nationals would like for him to strike out or put it in play on the ground. Chance for a double play.
Brave at every base in the home 5th. And a changeup caught Domit looking. He's down on strikes, 2 outs.
He thought this was high. Fox Tracks has it just shaving that outside line. Too close to take there for sure.
So back to the top and Jason Hayward. Jason is 0 for 2 with a walk. Jordan trying to finish his night with a flourish if he can.
He throws across his body quite a bit. It's pretty obvious when you watch him pitch to the plate, but that one is almost like he stepped even farther toward the third base line and then a crossfire over the top of his foot, which caused him to be pretty wide of the mark.
Inside corner. Hayward not sure. 2-2.
Change up. That one definitely had the zone. Big pitch right here for Jordan. 3-2. Runners will be moving. He's forced to make a better pitch for a strike. And Sandy Leon wants to talk to him about that.
Great crowd tonight in Atlanta. 28,000 here yesterday. There's a lot more than that tonight.
Yeah, it's close to sellout, if not a sellout tonight.
They have seen another incredibly entertaining and odd game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Try that inside corner again and just missed. So now it gets real fun. Everybody will be off to the races with a full count.
Yep, that was the pitch he wanted to do business on, as your dad used to say, but did not get the call because of the way Leon had to catch that ball. So now 3-2. He's got to make a better pitch. The runners will be moving.
And Hayward missed it.
Big league pitch there.
And Jason shatters his bat at the plate in frustration. Atlanta adds a 5th inning run. They lead 5-1. And our friends at Delta Airlines are proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. We will join them after the game tomorrow and make our way to Philadelphia for our first look at Ryan Sandberg's Philadelphia Phillies. Alex Wood is done after 5 innings of 6-hit, 1-run ball. He'll give way to right-hander Anthony Varvaro, who's on for the 3rd time this season.
His last outing against the Mets was outstanding. A couple of days ago, he went an inning and 2/3, struck out 3 of the 5 guys he faced. That was more Anthony-like after he had a rough spring.
Well, let's see if the Braves bullpen can have a little better luck against Washington. It's been a rough homestand for them, has it not, Jen?
Yeah, the bullpen not performing as well as the Braves would like. 9 runs allowed over the last 4 games with a 6.39 ERA. But despite that fact, Chip, I talked to several of the Braves players before the game tonight and asked them what they felt the best weapon on the team was right now. Now, there were a couple of votes for some big bats in the lineup, but a lot of the guys said they have faith in the bullpen. So see if these guys can get the job done with a 4-run lead tonight.
Thank you, Jen. Good report. Here's Ian Desmond. He'll start the 6th for the Nationals. And ball 1 to the Nationals shortstop. Desmond has popped out and struck out. He takes low. After this series, Washington heads down to Miami. They've got a 3-game date with the Marlins. Miami's in Philadelphia tonight, and they're tied with the Phillies 4-4. Giancarlo Stanton apparently hit another mammoth home run tonight.
Marlins might want some payback. They got swept in Washington.
And Anthony misses high. 3-0. Marlins have lost 5 in a row and 11 of their last 15 in Philadelphia. So plenty of work to be done at the Bank Vault tonight. And a 4-pitch walk to Desmond begins the 6th. 5 of the 6 innings, Washington's had the leadoff man on tonight.
Well, and this has been, it seems like, an issue with the guys coming out of the bullpen is coming in and putting a guy on base right away, giving the opposition a chance to put together a pretty good inning by walking the leadoff man.
Here's Harper. He is bunted for a single. He's walked, and he's been gunned down on the base paths. Ball, 1 strike.
They have not lacked for base runners tonight. They got the run on the leadoff home run from Rendon. But they've had guys on base every inning, at times more than one. They've left 6 men on base and they've had 2 picked off. Yes, he did.
They've had a man thrown out between 2nd and 3rd tonight. They had Zimmerman picked off at 2nd. LaRoche got thrown out at the plate last night. We saw Adam get thrown out at the plate in Washington. Had a runner tossed out between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd in a game up there. There you go.
He did.
Yes, he did. Harper down on a check swing strikeout. 9 Nationals have been struck out. That's the first time Harper has whiffed tonight. 1 down.
And yes, he certainly did. Didn't even need an appeal on that one. Like a good hard slider from Anthony, right in on his shoe tops.
Franson had a good night against Alex Wood. Now he's got a right-hander facing him in Anthony Favaro. Franson 2 for 2 in the game.
I don't know if Jason Worth is available to pinch hit tonight, because we were told that he suffered the groin strain last night in an at-bat against Craig Kimbrell, which he struck out and took a couple of funny swings. One would think that if that's the way he hurt it, then chances are good it would be painful to swing.
Now he's gone 3-0 to Franson. They need base runners. And the Braves have obliged with 4 walks tonight. 2 on, 1 out. Counting Anthony's 2 free passes so far tonight, Braves bullpen has now walked 12 men in 26 1/3 innings. They've also allowed 25 hits. So that's 37 hits and walks to 26 innings pitched.
Yeah, that was one thing about last year's bullpen, where was how good the command was. They didn't put a lot of extra guys on base, and they pitch around a guy or two here and there, but nothing like this.
So San De Leon with 1 out and 2 on. He's a catcher, the 8th place hitter. Looks like Tyler Moore has grabbed a bat. He's on deck and would bat for the pitcher, barring a double play. Look out. 0-2.
That's something. He's made great pitches to the left-handed hitters and can't throw the right-handers a strike.
We'll do it again. 0-2.
Fought off a pretty good slider there. Off-speed pitch.
Now Evan wants to talk it over with count still 0-2. Hottest team in the league is Milwaukee. They're home with Pittsburgh tonight. The Brewers have won 7 consecutive games and lead the National League Central with an 8-2 record.
2 losses.
The Braves.
Atlanta Braves. Haven't lost since.
To Freeman at first. He'll have 1 play, and it's to the first base bag. So good range by Freeman. That saved a run perhaps. And that is the second out of the inning, and it will be Tyler Moore.
He was just called up when Scott Hairston had to go on the disabled list when the Braves were in Washington.
Now that's got to be the, well, we know from the Braves perspective, the worst part about this time of year you spend all off season putting together your ball club, fixing the holes that you saw from the season before. You get to spring training, you get through that in reasonably good shape, at least in the case of Washington, and then your first 10 days, body blow after body blow.
Yeah.
And then you got to scramble because the season goes on. You got to fight through it. Braves know all about that. And that one gets away from Gaddis. Desmond scampers home, and he will score without a play. A very wild pitch brings him home, and it's now a 5-2 game. Franson moves to third base. This game's not over, folks. Not with the thunder these guys have in their lineup.
That's why you can't walk anybody. That's why you don't come in and walk the first guy of an inning who has come around to score. I have to say that Evan had a problem there trying to get his glove turned around. But when you've got the lead and you start walking people, especially as you say a team with this kind of thunder, you're asking for trouble.
Now, with all due respect to Desmond and Franzen, it's the bottom part of the lineup card. And now you've got Tyler Moore in a 2-1 count. And Gaddis saved that one with the left shoulder. Two years ago, Moore was a big part of the Washington offense. Hit 10 homers. Last year, hit .222 and had 4 long balls. And a big hit in the playoffs against the Cardinals. Knocked in a couple of runs. And would like to bring home Franzen here. And he'll have a full count pitch.
Got a foul tip there with a changeup, 3-1. I don't know if he'll double up with it or not, but that slider for sure has been bouncing up there in recent pitches. He made good pitches to the left-handed hitters earlier, but not since. Not with the slider.
There was a good pitch. And Tyler Moore is down on strikes. 10 Nationals have whiffed in the game. It's a 5-2 score. And here's your Delta Airlines on-deck trio for the Braves, who lead Game 2. It's time for our Subway box score.
Braves jumped out early after an out in the first inning, a home run, 2 singles, 2 doubles, a walk, produced 4 runs. BJ's had a good night. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. And Justin Upton continues his hot ways with a couple of doubles tonight.
So it's busy scorebook. And a night this young man will never forget. Feast your eyes on 6'5", 216-pound Blake Trinan, who's making his major league debut.
Last year at Double-A, made some progress, got everybody's attention. They got him from Oakland in the deal for Michael Morse. And he's supposed to have a big arm. out of Wichita, Kansas.
High pop to the right side off the bat of B.J. Upton. Roche will give way, and Espinosa hauls it in. And Upton now 2 for 4 in the game. What a thrill for Trinan. Gets his first big league hitter to pop out of the infield. 1 down.
Media guide says that he was trying to earn a spot pitching for the University of Arkansas, also at Baker College, and wound up, I think, in North Dakota State. Did I read that correctly?
South
Dakota State, where he got a chance to pitch and develop. 97 on that fastball.
Freddie was late, and understandably so. That one sizzled into the seats. 0-2.
.86-mile-an-hour slider.
And Freddie turns a 96-mile-an-hour fastball around and hit it into right field. Wow.
Looked like a 96 heater inside, too.
So 2 more hits for Freddie.
Target was in, but it kind of tailed back over the middle of the plate. Freddie got good extension on it. Again. Boy, look how he uses his hands. Keeps them inside the baseball. Time and time again.
Ball 1. Chris looks for his first hit tonight. Braves as a team have 11 of them. 5 of those 11 came in the first inning, when they scored 4 times to erase a 1-0 Washington lead. Braves got another run in the 5th inning on a Dan Uggla RBI hit. Washington plated a run in the 6th. A wild pitch. And for more on Chris, let's check in with Jen again.
Well, Chris Johnson bounced back, I think you'd say, quite nicely from an 0-for-4 effort against New York on Thursday to 3 hits last night. I asked him what he did to prepare for that, and he said nothing different. He sticks with his routine, tries to keep a level head. Maybe he showed a little frustration. You can just ask the water cooler in the dugout earlier, but trying to keep a level head when he's in the batter's box.
Yeah, he can be his own worst enemy, Jen. Sometimes when he gets so angry over a swing or an at bat or a game, but he uses that, channels that typically into an at bat that serves him pretty well.
Justin Upton waits patiently. He'll hit next. 2 more extra base hits for Justin tonight. And a swing and a miss.
That's a
Johnson
good pitch.
Strikes out for the 3rd time. 2 outs. First big league strikeout for Blake Trinan.
Tough slider there. Pretty steady dose of mid-90s, above mid-90s fastballs in, and then the slider.
The Nationals are asking Leon for the ball. It was handed to one of the Braves bat boys, and the entire Washington bench was hollering, "Hey, we want the ball," for the first strikeout. So there it is. 8 hits in Justin's last 10 at bats. That ball sharply hit. What a grab, Desmond. His throw to second is off target and into short right field, and Freddie Freeman will take third.
That might be a base hit too. Very difficult play for Desmond to make. And Justin continues his good, short, powerful swing, turning that fastball around. Nice glove work by Desmond. Let's see if he was going to have the out with a good throw. See Freddie hot footing it to second.
So runners at the corners for Dan Uggla.
And they do rule it an infield hit because of the difficulty.
A hit for Freeman, an error on Desmond, allowing Freeman to reach third base. Washington with 3 more errors tonight.
And 2 base runners picked off in scoring position.
Still no word on Ryan Zimmerman's condition either. He had to leave the game after he was one of those men picked off. Inside, ball 2 for Dan Uggla.
Something about this guy, he reminds me of someone, because he's not slow, but he's very calm and kind of deliberate in his delivery and his stretch, and then the ball just jumps out of his hand. A little bit about kind of Bobby Parnell of the Mets in a way. There's someone else whose his delivery reminds me of. Can't put my finger on it.
He's about to make his 18th big league pitch. And Uggla hit it sharply into right center field. McLouth is there and uses 2 hands. And that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits. We go to the 7th.
strike three right down Broadway. And Wood is out of the fifth. Scott back.
He dropped it.
And then he dropped the ball. The Nationals at wit's end. Well, we can't get a big head quite yet because this game still has a ways to go. It's 5-2 Atlanta as we head to the seventh inning. Joe and Chip with you as we welcome Jordan Walden to the mound in relief of Anthony Favaro. He's the third pitcher to work for the Braves tonight.
Including Anthony's inning when he walked the leadoff man 3 times tonight. The leadoff man has walked to get an inning started. And this guy, Rendon, this is the 4th time tonight he's led off an inning.
It's tough to do much better than a homer, a single, and a walk when you lead off. That's his line for game 2. Hitting a cool .390.
Jordan looked good last night. His inning of work, he worked the 7th, struck out the first 2 guys. Gave up a single and a walk, and then a play at the plate.
Here we go. Angel Hernandez says no. 1 ball, 2 strikes now, 2-2 for Rendon. This guy is not a big burly offensive player. Listed at 6'1", 198 pounds. Man, the ball really jumps off his bat.
Keeps his hands pretty low in his stance, but they don't stay there. I mean, that's kind of his starting point, but then he moves them back to get his swing started. And they are some quick hands. Lower than most.
A leadoff homer for him tonight, his 2nd of the year. Another swing and a 3-2 count.
Another thing is, if he went to Rice, he's no dummy. Pretty sharp guy.
Here's something to think about. The Braves drafted him before the Nationals did. Atlanta took him in the 26th round in 2008. But he didn't sign, went to college.
That's too bad, because as a sophomore at Rice in 2010, he won the Hauser Award, American Baseball Coaches Award.
And he just struck out. Chest high fastball, and Rendon couldn't stop his swing.
High, hard one. He kind of knew it. He was just kind of waiting for confirmation.
So the Braves get Rendon out for the first time, and now Nate McLouth bats. Nate's been in the middle of some of the weirdness tonight, hasn't he? Dropped fly ball and right. The replay reviewed bunt play in the 3rd. And now he touches one off to deep right. Hayward on a sprint at the track. We'll play that one off the fence. BJ backs up the play, and McLouth has doubled with 1 out.
I thought that one was gone. Surprised it stayed in the ballpark, because it jumped off his bat. Fastball, and he got it. Almost. High off the wall. He also had that play in right field that he made a diving, sliding catch on that kind of bobbled and able to hold on to it, keep it on top of him.
This is Danny Espinosa. He checked in after Zimmerman left with a injury to his hand of some sort. We think it's his thumb. But again, still waiting for confirmation from the Nationals training staff. A strike to Espinosa. .21 homers for Espinosa in 2011, 17 in 2012. But all that power has cost him a lot of work in the batting average department. He's a .230 lifetime hitter. Getting much better than that at the start of this year. We saw .295. That 21 homer total tied for the National League rookie lead with Freddie Freeman. In 2011 was the second largest total ever hit by a rookie second baseman. Dan Uggla hit 27 as a rookie with the Marlins back in 2006.
Gretchen Caney tells me that tonight in Syracuse, the highly touted infield prospect for the Nationals, Walters.
Broken bat pop into shallow center. BJ says he's got it. And he does. 2 out.
Kyle Walters, I believe. Zach Walters, thank you, was pulled from the game. So I don't know if that may be an indication of how severe the thumb injury was to Brian Zimmerman. We'll wait to see.
So here's LaRoche with a runner at second and 2 men out. Roger McDowell is out for a talk. LaRoche has struck out 3 times tonight. Any other baseball, Miami and the Phillies still tied 4-4. That one's in the 9th inning. No one-hitter for the Padres tonight. Detroit's beating them 4-1 in the 4th inning in San Diego. Dodgers are beating Arizona. Boy, the Diamondbacks have been a disappointing team. Arizona starts play tonight 4-9 and only 1-6 at Chase Field, their home park. And a couple of 1-0 games today. Colorado beat the Giants and Tampa Bay beat the Reds 1-0. Cincinnati, Joe, only 28 runs so far this year.
That's amazing. Well, and that 1-0 shutout was in Cincinnati.
Yeah, James Loney hit a home run for the Rays, and that's it. The Reds are dealing with some forearm problems for Matt Latos. And the good news is Aroldis Chapman is going to start throwing in the bullpen after getting hit in the face this spring.
LaRoche got a base hit off of Walden last night that started that crazy inning. Runners at first and second, then the wild pitch. And I say started it. He'd already struck out a couple of guys, but then a single and a walk. First and second, then the wild pitch, and Adam tried to score from second. Point is, he had a good swing at Walden. And he's 2 for 3 in his career against him.
Caught the inside corner. LaRoche a long look back at Larry Vanover. 2-2.
Took something off and inside too. I'm not sure that's where Evan wanted it, but that was almost a mistake that worked perfectly, because Adam would not be looking for a changeup in there. Everybody's been pitching backwards all night. 3-2 counts. There's been nothing but changeups from both sides.
And LaRoche has struck out again. An off-speed pitch gets the Nationals' first baseman and sends our game to the 7th inning stretch. Giannis, because you've got a hot streak going when it comes to trivia. They've decided the only way that they can knock you down is to give you almost no time to think of the answer.
Delay game.
But nonetheless, our AT Universe trivia question is: since 2010, Craig Kimbrell is one of 2 pitchers with 375 or more relief strikeouts. Name the other pitcher with that number or higher.
About Soriano.
For Washington? Great guess. We'll ponder that as the Braves bat in the 7th. Perfect night for Evan Gattis. He's added almost 90 points to his batting average tonight with a 3-for-3 game. And isn't it funny for those of us who are professional worriers about the pitching staff the first week? Things went very well. We then go worried about the offense. All of a sudden now the bats are alive and well for the Braves.
We'll find something to worry about.
Well, maybe the trivia question.
Yeah, we always do. He's got a good arm, not just velocity, but he has a good hard slider with some depth.
Blake Trinan's major league debut. Gattis stays alive. Ball and 2 strikes. To short. Desmond's got it. 1 man down. Andrelton Simmons back in the lineup. He's 0 for 2. Milwaukee won again. They just beat Pittsburgh 3-2. The Brewers victorious.
Hey, we were talking about them. Now they might sneak up on some people. I think the sneak factor is over.
It's their best start since 1987. Their bullpen's giving up less than a run a game collectively. And Ramos Ramirez, a guy you said would be a key for them, is healthy. And runners on base has been almost perfect this year. 8 for 11 at the plate.
Well, interesting that their bullpen's been lights out because it was in disarray when we were there about who was going to close and why Henderson wasn't closing. They've sorted all that out.
Maybe everybody stepped on cactuses.
Yeah,
K-Rod did out there. Been awfully good. We see the Phillies next. Some questions about the Phillies ball club, whether A.J. Burnett will make his start. He came up with a sore groin in his last start. As a hot shot to Rendon at third is handled. A wide throw at first is handled by Adam LaRoche. 2 outs in the Braves 7th. We're back at it again tomorrow afternoon. We wrap up the series with the Nationals. And here is your Chevron pitching matchup.
And with this matchup, the way these guys are pitching, you wouldn't expect a lot of base runners like we've seen tonight. There's not been one 1-2-3 inning for either side tonight. But with Gio Gonzalez and Aaron Harang, the way he worked the first 2 starts for the Braves, might be some quick innings tomorrow.
You know, though, the Braves have had Gonzalez's number. The Nationals notes printed it up today. In the last 6 games against the Braves, he's 0-5.
I did not know that.
And in continuing with our theme tonight about lack of run support, in those 6 games, the Nationals have given Gio Gonzalez 5 total runs to play with.
That's part of it. Big part of it.
This is Jordan Schaefer with the bases empty in the Braves 7th. And he drives one toward left. Franzen broke back, running near the line and in foul ground, makes the catch, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. On we go to the 8th. It's 5-2 the Braves now. Season long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Hope you'll make your plans to join us in the early days of May. The Braves Summer Concert Series presented by Coca-Cola and Delta kicks off during Heritage Weekend. Saturday, May 3rd with a free post-game concert by Kool and the Gang. You can even buy a field pass for the show for just $25. Visit Braves.com/concerts today.
You know that song, Mrs. Laird, Kool and the Gang?
I know.
You're going to have to kind of get with it. You're going to have to get some street cred, man.
I've heard that for 49 years, pal. I think it might be a little too late. As David Carpenter digs in, he's on for his 5th outing of the season.
He worked yesterday. Gave up 3 hits in his inning and a run. And started with a leadoff hit. Nationals have got to be wondering what in the world they did wrong to have Ramos go down, Span with a possible concussion, and who knows what with Brian Zimmerman tonight. My goodness, they can't afford to lose him. Worth is not in there with a strained groin.
After tomorrow's game, they'll first of all be happy to not mess with the Braves for a while. We won't see them until late June.
Is that right? That long?
It's the 19th of June in Washington. As Desmond drives one hard toward right field, and it's going to skip past Hayward to the fence. It sticks under the fence, and Jason throws his hands up, and now Angel Hernandez will run out, and guess what? Desmond, for the 2nd time this year, is going to have to tangle with the Braves in a ball lodged under the fence. You got to be kidding me.
What are the chances the same guy?
Two bases.
Good hustle, Angel. Good hustle.
I think Ian's got that play down, but he's mad. He was thinking he might have had a triple on this play, if not more than that.
He's got a smile on his face. Good for him.
Here's Harper. He singled, walked, and struck out. And Joe, leadoff men for the Braves bullpen.
It's not a good sign. First batter face, that number, that retired number's got to go up. Would it be such a hard thing to have the padding go all the way to the ground and eliminate that problem?
I was told there's a reason that it doesn't.
Well, the reason I was given years ago was that, hey, we got to drag the infield of the warning track with a drag, and we don't want to tear up the padding.
That wasn't what I heard.
Oh.
It's the height of the warning track fluctuates. When you get rain, they put all the diamond dry out there, so it goes up to the top of the padding. Or when you have dry periods and wind, that dirt blows away. Is what I was told.
Okay.
So either way, it would be difficult to maintain a consistent height. So that's why you have a little bit of a gap between the padding and the ground.
Still not a good enough reason for me, as an old outfielder who had to mess with stuff like that or slide and run the risk of running your foot or knee into the concrete under the padding.
Harper chased a fastball and didn't get it at 96.
Yes. Upstairs.
Now Carpenter might have one of the most meaningful strikeouts of the season for the Braves, and it was against Harper in Washington.
They may have found a spot on him too. Remember, he tried to check his swing on a high pitch last time up against Bavaro.
Big crowd, 36,621 tonight in Atlanta, as Franzen hits with a man aboard and one out. Well, your point about slamming into the fence is one Washington knows all about. Roger Bernardina, before they lowered the pad in center field in Washington, slammed up against the fence and actually broke his ankle.
I remember that.
Slow roller toward third. Toss across in time for one, and good base running by Desmond. Waited for the throw to begin and then moved up 90 feet, but there are 2 outs. He's had a busy night behind the plate. And Leon 0 for 3 as well.
And our question about Jason Worth has been answered. He is out in the on-deck circle. Could be he's able to play tomorrow. I saw him during batting practice moving around pretty well, and at one point he was out in right field and sprinted to second base at a pretty good clip. It looked like he was okay.
In the air to center. BJ's not going to catch that, and Leon has an RBI hit, and the Nationals are within 2 runs. It's now 5-3. Third leadoff man has scored tonight for Washington. And now you do have to face Worth, who represents the tying run.
The one thing you have been saying, and everybody has to remember, is this Nationals team, while it may appear that the Braves really have their number, having won 20 of the last 27 between these two teams, they don't roll over and phone it in. Last 2 nights, certain proof of that, and last night especially, where they came back.
A good stop. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you would expect nothing less from these 2 clubs who have occupied the top 2 spots in the division each of the previous 2 years. Washington won the East by 4 games in 2012. Last year the Braves won the East by 10 games at 196. So a great deal of healthy respect. Braves want to defend their championship. Washington wants to wrest it away. And if this score holds tonight, the Braves would pull even with Matt Williams' club at the top of the divisional pile. Both skies at foul and into the upper deck. 1-2.
Here are the 2 swings against Craig Kimbrell last night. Not sure which of the swings it was that did the most damage. This is the last one. Trying to stop his swing upstairs. He had tried to chase a slider earlier in the at bat where he kind of lunged across the plate. Neither one did him any good.
Hot shot off Freeman's glove. He'll recover. Carpenter late to the bag. Overthrow. And Washington has runners at first and third. Nobody's at second base. Nobody's at first base. And no further advance by the Nationals. That ball was smoked.
It was going to take a perfect timing play here on this. You can see a high target. It wasn't high enough. And Freddie somehow flagged it down. But David Carpenter, you see, late to the party. He was standing there watching, and as a result, late to the bag, and all the timing was messed up because of it.
So it's an infield hit for Worth, an error on Freeman that allowed Leon to scamper around to third base. Now you have to deal with Rendon, who's reached base 3 times tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ian Thomas getting ready in case it gets to Nate McLouth.
Rendon's been aggressive on fastballs in the strike zone. He's not been chasing. He did chase that slider, but he seems to be really focused and locked in on fastball. The way Worth got down the line there on that hard hit ball, I would be real surprised if he doesn't play tomorrow.
Carpenter's ahead of Rendon, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Might be slider time. Well, good heater. Still got a piece of it.
Two on, 2 out, 2-run Braves game. 2-2 count for Rendon. Fly ball center. BJ says he's got it, and he does. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 5-3 score. Tonight, 5-3 is your score. They are still alive despite 3 errors. We invite you to take a guided tour of Turner Field and visit many areas you don't get to see during the game, like the Braves press box, broadcast booth, clubhouse, and dugout. As you see our AT&T fan photo of the game tonight. Good-looking couple. Hall of Fame tours are offered year-round in the Braves Museum and Hall of Fame. Call 404-614-2311 and plan your tour today. If you didn't hear the news earlier, back in February, the Braves announced the 3 newest members of the Braves Hall of Fame. As Craig Stammen misses outside to Jason Hayward leading off the 8th. Javi Lopez, former head athletic trainer Dave Pursley, and former Boston Braves shortstop Rabbit Moranville will be inducted on May 23rd at the 755 Club.
Very happy for Javi. I'm extremely happy and proud for Dave Pursley, who's so richly deserved to be inducted. I did not know Rabbit personally, but he was a heck of a player. He's in the top 10 in a bunch of Braves franchise records, offensive records.
He was 5'5", 155 pounds. Third in the MVP voting in his first season in 1930. Was a runner-up in the MVP voting to teammate Johnny Evers in 1914. And Johnny Evers part of the Tinker to Evers to Chance infield. First in triples, fifth in games, ninth in steals in Braves franchise history. National Baseball Hall of Fame inductee in 1954. There's a hard hit ball by Hayward toward left. But Franzen will track it down, and there's out number one in the bottom of the eighth inning. You're right about Dave Pursley, just an incredible man, an incredible gentleman. Worked 4 All-Star games. Was the trainer in Milwaukee when the Braves were there. Won the Athletic Training Staff of the Year in 1995 and was the National Athletic Trainers Association Most Distinguished Athletic Trainer in 2004.
He cracked me up one day. Dave was certainly old school. Played everything close to the vest. And I saw him in the clubhouse. I said, and Chipper had something going on. I said, Dave, how's Chipper? He said, Chipper who?
Line drive, caught it short. But I hope BJ gives himself a big pat on the back for a real good night at the plate tonight. Ball was hit hard.
Great strides tonight. And really in this homestand. Speaking of Chipper, some of the offerings he had to try to get him on track.
Another 2-hit game for Freddie Freeman. And that's in for a strike. This is game 11 for the season. And Freeman already has 6 multi-hit games this year. So we hope you'll make your plans for the Braves Hall of Fame luncheon. May 23rd, the Rockies will be in town later on that night. And that's always one of the highlights of an exciting baseball summer. I know for years Joe's done a fantastic job emceeing the event. I'm sure he'll do the same again.
Thanks, pal. Looking forward to it.
2 balls and a strike. High fly ball, well hit left center field. Will the ballpark hold that one? Won't! Home run for Freeman the other way.
Another 3-hit night. Another impressive swing against a tough pitcher in Stammen. Going the other way. Fastball in the outer third. Boy, oh boy, this guy can hit. Franzen put the wrong hand up there, but at least he was trying.
Third homer for Freddie. We'll take a long hitting streak of 8 games into the series wrap up tomorrow.
That's a big run right there.
You bet. It's a 6-3 game. You know Kimball's lurking for the top of the ninth. It's Chris behind now, a ball and 2 strikes. Hope you've enjoyed the great camera work tonight. Mike Miller, our director. Got every angle covered for you this evening. Love the look of the outfielders trying to make those grabs up over the fence. As Chris Johnson is down on strikes to send this game to the ninth. It's been a wild one again. Braves 6, Washington 3. Here comes Kimbrel. That's what Craig Kimbrel sees, and that's what Turner Field sees when the bullpen gates open for the ninth inning with the Braves in front at home. 6-3 is your score. Kimbrel will try to protect the 7th Atlanta victory of the season and the first against the Nationals for starter Alex Wood tonight.
Great numbers, 16 out of 18 in saves against the Nationals. His last 28 appearances, an 0.99 ERA. How about 50 strikeouts to 5 walks in 27 plus innings? The Nationals tonight, their leadoff man has reached 6 of the last 7 innings. It's a 3-run lead now. Just get after that first guy and take away any thoughts they might have of a rally.
McLeod takes a strike. McLeod's highlight tonight, a 7th inning double. No chance. 0-2. Kimbrel closing in on John Smoltz for the Braves all-time save leadership. Craig has 143 saves. John saved 154.
He was in a non-save situation last night and was just brilliant in the 9th inning. Struck out the side, Worth, LaRoche, and Zimmerman.
Slow roller back to the mound. Kimbrel's got it. There's out number 1 in the 9th. Back to the AT&T Uverse trivia question with Craig Kimbrel on the mound. He's one of 2 pitchers with 375 or more relief strikeouts. Who's the other man to do that?
I'm going to stick with the man down in their bullpen, Soriano.
I'm going to say Kenley Jansen for the Dodgers. He's another big strikeout guy. Don't know if he has enough appearances, but take a shot in the dark.
Well, how about that, old Tyler?
If we had more time to think about it, we would have gotten it, I think. Espinosa.
I don't know that I would have.
No?
No.
Stop,
don't think I would have gone there.
Stop being so honest. Well, it stands to reason with Tyler Clippard. He's a terrific relief pitcher who's had terrible luck against the Braves. Gave up 19 runs last year. 7 of the 19 came against Atlanta. They've touched him for 3 runs in as many appearances this year. All he can do is sit and watch and hope for a Washington comeback against the best closer in baseball. Not an easy task. 2 balls, no strikes for Espinosa.
Come back and get him. The healthy guys they do have in their lineup are coming up next.
At the knees, a called strike.
At the bottom of the zone, got the call.
To the right side. Can Dan cut it off? He did. He slides. He fires late. Marvelous effort to get to that ball. It is, however, an infield hit in the 9th inning.
Good range here by Dan. But just too awkward a throwing spot or a throwing position from that spot. Didn't get anything on the throw. Looks like Freeman's going to play behind Espinosa, give him a little range and perhaps take away the line.
Ball 1 to Adam LaRoche, who has struck out 4 times tonight.
Two for 11 in his career against Kimbrel, with a double and 6 strikeouts.
That's foul at first, and LaRoche down to his final strike.
Pretty cute tonight before the ball game. Young man who threw out the first pitch, went out to the mound and looked in for the sign and struck a Craig Kimbrel pose before he threw the pitch. Pretty good.
Want to walk him.
Flying open a little bit, overthrowing some here, trying to put him away.
Nine runs, 24 hits, 4 errors, and 20 men left on base combined tonight.
Tough hitter, hanging tough. Another tough out behind him, and Bryce Harper behind him. So like I said, they got a lot of guys hurt, but this stretch right here are all healthy and all dangerous.
Another payoff pitch. And it's hit hard to right. Hayward on a dead run. Gets there. 2 out. Good battle by LaRoche, but he's 0 for 5, and the Nationals are down to their final out. Desmond has walked and scored. He has doubled and scored. Runner goes. The Braves will concede the base to Espinosa. The 0-1 pitch. Now the Braves are a strike away.
Good breaking ball. 0-2 now. He doesn't have to throw him a strike. He'll have to expand his zone a little bit. Might chase something, especially a fastball out of the zone away.
Got a big piece of Evan Gattis.
Like right on the toe. Oh, maybe the knee there.
Your ball game. The Braves have beaten Washington again. 6-3 your final score in game 2. They have pulled even in the National League's Eastern Division race. Another crazy game. Alex Wood beats Washington for the first time in his big league career. Run support was not a problem. He got 4 in the first and made it stand through 5 innings of work tonight.